Hello everyone, I'm Shravani from MCAn and today my topic is beverages. Let us find out a definition of beverages. Beverages are liquids made for consumption. They may be in the form of stimulants like tea, coffee, milk as refreshments like soft drinks, juices and water. They are further classified into alcoholic beverages and non-alcoholic beverages as shown in chart. Let us find out definition of alcoholic beverages. Alcoholic beverages are also called as alcoholic drinks, adult beverages that contains ethanol is a type of alcohol act as a drug produced by fermentation of grains and other sources of sugar. And examples of alcoholic beverages are in the liquid form whiskey, rum, gin, vodka and brandy and liquors. Now, non-alcoholic beverages. Non-alcoholic beverages are defined as less than zero point 0.5 and above in general or less than 1.2 above the base on the fermentation products like drinks includes. Example, non-alcoholic beverages are water, juice, coffee, tea, chocolate, smoothies and mocktails. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Saniya Fatima. I am from MCAn and my topic is processing of black tea. First of all, I want to explain you about teas. All types of tea, true tea actually originate from the same plant. The botanical name for the tea plant is Camellia sinensis. Each of these teas develops their unique characteristics through different harvesting and processing methods. In the picture, we can see the types of teas. Moving on to the next slide. Black tea. It is believed that black tea was discovered when the Chinese started fermenting tea leaves in order to extend the storage life of tea. Next slide. Black teas are made from the same plant as white, green and oolong teas. Camellia sinensis. The steps involved in processing of black tea are wittering, rolling, oxidizing, which is also known as fermentation, and last drying. Okay, wittering. Wittering is the most basic process of making black tea. It evenly removes waters in fresh tea leaves. Three main methods of wittering when making the black tea are sun wittering, indoor wittering, and using of wittering trot. First, sun wittering. Put the fresh leaves outdoor under the sun. This method is fast, easy to apply and non-fuel required, but it is limited by weather conditions. Indoor wittering. Set several wittering shelves in a room, then put the bamboo trays which carries the fresh leaves of the shelves. Wittering. Wittering through is a manually controlled machine that can witter the tea leaves with heat. The machine has blast engine which blows hot air crossing the leaves. Next slide. Rolling. The cell walls of the tea leaves must be broken open through the rolling process, which can take anywhere from 5 to 60 minutes. Once done by hand, but now often done by machines. The act of massaging the tea leaves releases their enzymes and essential oils and exposes their components to the air, catalyzing chemical reactions with flavorful results. Next slide. Oxidizing or fermentation. Once the leaves are activated through rolling, they are left to rest for up to 8 hours of oxidation. Since oxidation takes place simultaneously at a wide range or room temperature, this process will continue until the leaves are dried under heat. Fermented tea improves with aging and can be stored for years. Here we can see the fermentation of tea leaves. Next process is drying. On the high point of the fermentation, the leaves are transported through so-called tide dryers on metal conveyors belts. The tea is dried for approximately 20 minutes with hot air of 80 to 90 degrees centigrade, which makes the cell fluid stick to the leaves and gives it its dark brown to black color. Next slide. In this slide we can see that the processing of black tea is done by this processing. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Soumya. I am from MCAn. My topic is processing of green tea. Green tea. Green tea is a type of tea that is made from Camellia sinensis leaves and buds that have not undergone the same withering and oxidation process used to make oolong teas and black teas. Green tea production process. First step is harvest. First, you need to select the leaves for harvest. In the spring and summer, you should notice a fresh flush of young leaves, and these are the perfect ones for tea making and the most prized by tea growers. Pick the two youngest leaves and the bud of each branch to give yourself a small pile of fresh soft leaves to work with. The next step is steaming. The next step is to heat the leaves by steaming them. A steamer works best, or you can use a colander over a pan of boiling water. Steam for 1 to 2 minutes. You want the leaves to start to wilt and turn an olive green color. Be careful when steaming that you don't cook the leaves, and to do this, watch their color but also scrunch them in their cloth. The next step is shaping. So now you are looking at a limp olive green ball of leaves which is warm to touch but cool enough to knead, much the same as bread. If you are not keen in kneading the leaf, then using a sushi mat works well for this to get them nice and even. But you can also roll them into the palms of your hand, working them into narrow tubular shapes as you do so. This breaks down the chemistry inside the leaf that will give your tea its flavor. Next step is oxidation. Oxidation is a chemical process that is easiest to observe by looking at a dried tea leaf's color. The greener the leaf, the less oxidized it is. Like a cut banana turning brown, the tea leaf turns brown as it oxidizes. Next step is drying. This part of the tea production process can be done in two different ways. They are drying by pan frying and drying by oven baking. Drying by pan frying is dry the leaves in a pan by tossing them continuously and checking they don't burn with your hands. However, a warm oven would probably suit anyone not practiced at such hands on cooking. Drying by oven baking is if using an oven, place the rolled leaves on a baking tray in a preheated oven at 100 degrees Celsius for 10 to 12 minutes and turn them halfway through. Thank you.
Myself, Vennela. My group is MCAn. My topic is alcoholic beverages. Wine is an alcoholic beverage made with the fermented juice of grapes. Technically, any fruit is capable of being used for wine, but if it just says wine on the label, then it's made with grapes. We see next slide. Alcoholic beverages 2D. Palm wine, known by several local names, is an alcoholic beverage created from the sap of various species of palm tree, such as date palms and coconut palms. Rum. Rum is a liquor made by fermenting and then it distilling sugar cane, molasses, or sugarcane juice. The distillate, a clear liquid, is usually aged in oak barrels. Beer. Beer is an alcoholic beverage produced by extracting raw material with water, boiling, usually with hops, and fermenting. Next slide. Wine. As grapes matured, the wine yeast Saccharomyces ellipsoideus naturally accumulates on the skins. When the crushed grapes or filter juice is placed at temperature of 27 degrees Celsius, the juice proceeds to ferment, yielding essentially equal molar quantities of ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide and traces of flavor compounds. Processing of wine. Harvest wine grapes. Grapes picked too early may result in tart and thin tasting wines. Point 2. Grapes picked too late may result in wine that tastes overly ripe and flabby. Desteaming and crushing. The crushed grapes are placed in the press with the stems. This helps the juice to flow past the flattened skins that accumulates at the edge of the press. Next slide. Pressing. After crushing, the pomace, grape skin and juice is pressed to separate the grape skin from the juice. When the grapes are pressed, the pomace releases a considerable amount of juice called free run juice. What is left is called the pressed juice. Next, fermentation. Fermentation is the process of using natural or cultured yeast to convert grape juice to wine. The fermentation process takes place in three steps: primary fermentation, cold stabilization, malolactic fermentation. Clarification. After the fermentation process, the wine is left in the fermentation tank with precipitates like dead yeast and pomace that settle at the bottom of the fermenting vessel. To get rid of these sediments, the winemaker performs clarification, where the wine is transferred from one barrel to another. Aging and bottling. The wine can be aged in any of the following: wine bottle, stainless steel tanks, large wooden bowls, small oak barrels. Age it to let the wine gain its natural flavors. This is a picture of wine making. These are the steps included in this process. Thank you.